If you are a makeup consumer that was really upset by the Victoria Beckham Beauty Contour Stylus a few seasons ago, great product, great formula, a lot of money for how little you got. Well, if you're one of those people who is highly offended by that, and I'm not sure I blame you, you will be highly offended by the brand new Victoria Beckham Beauty Blush Stylus that has just been released. These little guys come in 5 different shades. I picked up 2 of them and they are $40 for 1 ounce of product. But before you light your torches and rally the townspeople against Victoria Beckham Beauty, I actually am on her side on this one. And I'm going to tell you and show you why today with me, Rebecca, on Not Fit for Print Beauty. I've been doing this for about 25 years, guys. I review beauty professionally. I've done it for magazines and newspapers. I have watched some of the biggest makeup artists and fashion designers, frankly, work. And I am here to help you decide what you should spend your hard-earned cash on here in this very crowded beauty sphere. So give me a follow, subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Threads, and we got a membership here on YouTube, or on Facebook, all those sort of things. All that information is down below. Let's talk about it. Like I said, this is the follow-up to the Contour Stylus. The Victoria Beckham Beauty Contour Stylus that was out a few seasons ago, like I said, is a lot of money for 1 ounce of product, but gosh, the formula was delightful. And we have the same here. I got the shades Fresco and Sienna. Those are 2 of the 5. Let's take it outside in the warm California sunshine. Just take a look at Fresco. That's the apricot-y color. And Sienna, that is the browner shade. Yeah, my skin tone, it kind of looks like a bronzer. What I was doing is I was trying to just get a deeper shade, because you guys know how I feel. When a shade is darker is when, especially on my light medium skin tone, it can get away from you. And I thought, let's try it, right? Let's try a deeper shade. I did think it would be a little bit redder, so I don't know if that's going to work on me. But we're going to try it. We got 2 shades and 2 cheeks. Here's the thing. Yeah, it's $40 for an ounce of product, but it's very intentional. This isn't like a typical, I'm holding a Dior blush stick here. The Dior blush stick, and this is a beautiful one, is very luminous, very thick, very spreadable. There's a lot of like slip to it. There's a better word for it. And that's how most blush sticks are. You know, here's one from Rhode. You know, they're thicker, they're wider. You're applying them to a larger space. You know, you could talk about the Westman Atelier in here, Chanel, any number. Generally, they're a little bit, they have a little bit more slip to it. This Dior one, or they're a little bit thicker and creamier, almost like a lipstick. And by this one, I'm also thinking of the original Victoria Beckham Beauty, the Posh Cheeks. Those were a little bit thicker. They almost felt like a lipstick, like a cream, a thicker cream, or they're like a thicker cream, or they're like almost like a liquid in a tube. These have a different formulation to them, and we're going to play with them now. They are definitely intentional, meaning that the brand says you can place this exactly where you need it. Then you can either smooth it, or I have a brush here as well. You can put it on, put it exactly where you want it. They're recommending even mixing it with their liquid blush that they came out with a few seasons ago, if you guys remember this. So maybe we'll play with that and try that too. I don't think they're saying it needs to be your only blush. They're saying it will be intentionally placed and then used. And they're basically saying, yeah, it's $40 for an ounce. First of all, that is luxury pricing, so I mean, we get it. There's a cost of admission to this stuff. But also, you're going to use it less. You know, you're going to, for instance, use up this stuff quicker because there's a lot of slip to it, and you're putting it all over your cheek, and this is more intentional in use. Do you know what it reminds me of? I wanted to just kind of show you guys what this reminds me of, and this is in the luxury realm, so the prices aren't going to be commensurate. But Makeup Forever had this stick right here, this artist color crayon. That is a little bit also more intentional. This one was for lips, for eyes, for wherever you want to use it, and for cheeks. This has a little bit more, it's a little bit more intense on the shades, but the formulation kind of reminded me. I also thought of the Clinique Chubby Stick for cheeks. This one, oh, might be about as wide as a typical one, but the formula is a little different, you know? And it didn't have that flat, thick, wide applicator that, say, Rhode has or Westman Atelier. I thought of that. Also the, so the Chubby Stick, but also the Nude Sticks has these kind of color sticks for the face that are more intentional. Of course, that price doesn't shock anyone like the Victoria Beckham does, because the Victoria Beckham is luxury. But it kind of reminded me of that, to just compare it to a normal, either thicker, creamier, or gliding, creamier blush stick. It's not the same thing. This is definitely a Stylus, and it does remind me of her contour shades. Okay, so let's kind of try it here, and let's be really intentional with it. Here is that apricot shade, the fresco shade that you saw outside. So here's what I mean. There's going to be some slip, and then it's going to stay. So I would put it right here, up higher, right? And then you got to use your time. I wouldn't do it on both sides. I would blend before I go to the other side, okay? So I barely touched my skin, and it blended. Let me put it on a little darker. Again, I have light medium skin tone, so I'm just going to draw all over my face right there. And I'm going to put on a little more than I say normally would. I just want you guys to kind of see this. And I'm very intentional about it. What do you think? Now I'm going to show you what I mean. You can kind of go over the nose, which is actually something I've been doing lately with my liquid blush and with my cream blush. This is just to kind of give that like sunny look. See, like I've been out in the sun. You can even go this way. Okay, and the idea is that you're not using a ton of it, but what you're using is very intentional. As you see, I did not apply it all the way over here like I would have done with a thicker thing like this Rhode. So it's very intentional. Still expensive for what you get? Yeah, it's luxury beauty. Let me open up our Sienna shade. This is the shade I'm a little worried about. This is a little bit brown for my skin tone, but let's see what we think. Yeah, it is reading a little redder on the skin, isn't it? Okay, barely touching the skin. You can go ahead and use a brush for this, sponge if you want, but look, I barely touched my skin. That is how easily this blends. And this shade might be nice as a, not a contour, but you can probably bronze with it a little bit. Not get, this is the one most similar. It's almost like a very warm version of her contour stick. And that would have been pretty across the nose. And I could even go all the way under and see what we think with this shade. Again, I'm not even pulling down on my eyes. This is how easily this is blending. Feel free to use a brush if you want. Sorry, I know I'm a little lopsided here. But so what I'm trying to say, look how natural that is. What does it feel like on the skin? It's not cream to powder, but it might as well be. You can powder it if you love powder, but you don't have to. It has a very matte look, stays all day, not like a traditional blush stick. Now let's see what they're telling us at Victoria Beckham Beauty is, how about mix it with one of these? This is that color wash, is it called? So I'm going to put a little bit of that just for fun here on my hand, because as you know, I used this intentionally, this product here, but there's no actual blush where you would apply it. So here's one shade of that. And now I kind of don't really have to run up my face. I could just really stick to like the apple of the cheek with the blush product. See, and then it's kind of like a draped blush effect. My goodness, if you went in with that new Patrick Ta product, you would have so many cheek products on, you would be shocked. But you know, we are living in the cheek product revolution. This transition blush that we've seen painted by Esther Do and Patrick Ta, and as I said a while ago, Kevin Aqua, and all of these people now meeting people wearing their blush up really high and even onto here, and then transitioning it. And now we have this kind of a transition system that Victoria Beckham Beauty is kind of telling us about here. So I am wearing two blushes and perhaps a contour and perhaps a bronzer. It's a great way to bring back people wearing a lot of makeup by tricking them into the fact that they're not wearing a lot of makeup. But it's kind of a lot. I have a lot of cheek products on my face now, just on this side anyway. And maybe this side, let's try this cooler shade. Now the question is, as we talked about in my live this morning, we have a members only live that I run every Friday. And we were talking about, let's try this. Are they going to sell those posh blushes anymore? And it looks like no. My membership was telling me that right now they are in that kind of loyalty tier of Victoria Beckham, but they're off the regular site. So it looks like they're trying to move into this kind of system that combines these with the stick, which would make sense, and you would get more for your money. If you were taking this Stylus and drying all over your cheek and blending, you will use it up too quickly? You can. There's no rules. It's just makeup. I'm just telling you that that would happen. So keeping in mind that it is luxury and therefore pricey, you're never going to find a Victoria Beckham Beauty product that's cheap. But keeping in mind that it's intentional, it is luxury, it has a blendability, it sticks around forever after you finally get it all blended in, but you must be intentional with it, and you're welcome to use it either with a Victoria Beckham Beauty blush or another blush as kind of part of a blush system, which seems to be what we're doing now, pardon my lopsidedness. It could work, you guys. It really could. It's not a bad product at all. Think of it like a Clinique Chubby Stick or a Makeup Forever crayon nude sticks if you have these and have experience with them. It's a little bit more like that. Could you use one of these on the lips? Certainly. I don't think the colors really lend themselves to that. Could you use them on the eyes? Certainly. And that would in fact make a very, very pretty, sorry, stuff is rolling around here. That would make a very, very pretty tie together. I don't know if the brand suggests this, but I Can Live Dangerously. See, that's kind of pretty. Just like I do normally with bronzer, and it's matte, so if you have a hooded eye, you could do that. Let me use the other one on the other eye. So there's a lot of ways you could do this. I'm sure you could do it on the lips too. Look at how nice that is. Actually, kind of liking that. Blends it all together. Kind of nice. All right, so at any rate, I want you to consider that when you consider purchasing these. You're not just buying a blush stick. It is intentional. It is purposeful. Tell me what you guys think. Happy to do swatch comparisons with other shades or shades of her other blush. I do that over on Instagram. Feel free to ask about it. You know, you can check me out over there on TikTok and all that stuff. I like to communicate with you guys in comments, so make sure you do. I'm going to do a short about this that also kind of wraps this all up a little bit neatly in a quick fashion if you want to look for that tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video. I do think it's a good product, but I do think it has that specific customer in mind, right? If you just want a one and done quickie, then this is more your style, right? Or even West Mid Atelier. But you tell me. Tell me in the comment section. What do you think? Is it worth it? Are you feeling ripped off? Tell me what you think. We'll chat about it in the comment section. And I got the Gucci coming up, the eyeshadow palette, and a lot of other, I'm looking over there, a lot of other new products. They are coming in still, and a lot of wrap-ups and a lot of rankings and all sorts of good stuff. I will see you all in the next video, and I'll chat with you in the comments. Bye-bye.